Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. How are you today? It's Loren. I'm here. And do you see me? I'm trying to get over there. Okay. I am in the sky. There I am. Was broken into 30 million quadrillion pieces as our guess is going to be. Everybody seems to love that ride. They tell me once the molecules come back together, it wasn't so bad. One of these, though, you know what I'm saying. So, yes, yes, that is hair. I saw this headband hair that I grew over kind of long. I got to get it. I wanted to see what I've seen myself in. Well, that's not did go as Carmen. Um, no, she didn't have hair. Fruit thing. So really, not myself in hair in years. What do you think? Do I keep it or what? Anyway, I'm wearing it today. I'm wearing it because I have a great guest today, and I just feel goofy. It's Friday, and welcome to you know what it is. What? Bathrobe moments. Yes. So if you're still out on the porch, I don't know why, get in here, but wipe your feet off, take your shoes off, and come in and get comfortable. This is where real people have real conversations about real issues, illuminating conversations, if you will. And today's no different. But before we get started, I want to remind everybody that we are, in fact, streaming live. Feel your heartbeat? That's right. We are live across Facebook, YouTube, Roku, Android, Apple TV, Periscope, and of course from our home base, E360 TV Live. And I want to say today, thank you, Jesus, ringing the bell of purpose. Thank you to this week and next week's sponsor. Look up here. Always get it backwards. Yes. It's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach. It's up there. It's symposium where your conversation becomes currency. Get over to www.symposium.us or .us. You choose and look at all the opportunities that they give you over there. If you download the app today or just go to the website, you're going to see how you can convert your viewers. Turn your cell phone into a payphone. I have used them in so many different ways. I have done masterminds. I have done private classes. I have done live streams of all my events, the Power of We Symposium, the Next Impactor. We collected all our votes through Symposium for the Next Impactor. And I've got a series of master classes about to launch next month, right over on symposium.us. So head over. If you're looking for additional income through your story, through your message, or you've got anything to teach, you can teach from vision boarding to how to paint your toenails with your teeth. I don't know. But whatever it is, get over and look at the opportunities. You won't be sorry. Symposium.us. So today, we have Tracy Maxfield here. She is from, well, first of all, let me click over so you can see her. There she is. She'll be popping up on your second. I'm loving the lady in a blue dress can never eyes. So there she is on your screen. Isn't that lovely? Hey, where's my sponsorship thing? How come it didn't go over? Tracy must have some powers or something. She does not share the screen. Uh-oh. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, Tracy, quit wiggling your nose and making things come and go at will. So stop it. You know, she is that powerful. Now, let me tell you, I'm still fighting this cold, so help me welcome to the show because she's got hot coffee for me. It's Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. I also have a banana today. Um, and if you guys weren't here yesterday, one more time to round out the week. Shout out to one of my favorite super fans in Lansing, Michigan, Mary. Mary sent me this, my very own, the smallest stretched Armstrong in the world. So this for me is number 9. I had 8 others growing up. They were the really big ones, but they're all buried somewhere because I kept cutting them open. So I am not, to see what makes them stretch. So this one I am not taking out of this plastic, no matter how it calls to me to do so, because if I do, I know what's going to happen. He's going to end up under the scalpel, and I don't want to see that. I want to keep that one. So there you go. Thank you, Mary in Lansing. Mwah. So let's go back to Tracy. I don't know how to say the name of her town. It sounds like a coffee, though. It looks like it would be a coffee. Kill. I'm gonna wait till she gets here. It's in British Columbia, Canada. So she's international, and she is the author of this. Look at this, you guys. This great book right here, "Escaping the." Um, and I just we're gonna get into that. What was it like home? And it's in there with you. Um, and she's also a nurse. So um, because I mean, how many can one have? We're gonna find out. She's a speaker, she's an advocate for or stop bullying. She's a mental health advocate, and she is. Let's see. Oh, she's gonna tell us about her experience. It was in 2015, so that's fresh. Just 5 years ago, that she had workplace bullying. Now that is so interesting to me. So we're going to get into that and some other things. So without further ado, put your hands together, everybody, and let's watch her break into a million little pieces and come across the skyways or whatever it is. I gotta size her. Come on over. There, Miss Tracy is in the air now, moving through the cosmos. Okay, and I'm trying to make her good size today. Okay, there we go. Uh-huh. Okay, she should be popping up, send. Okay. Now, so that's the book. I love the cover. Do you notice that that's really a hole when you're like looking? It took me a few times, but I think the cover illustrates just beautiful work, and he's known for. So actually, still a million pieces going across the sky. So if you are weird right now and teen, just go with it, girl. You'll pop up here. So good morning to all of you. Welcome to molecules to come here in our side of the universe. I am going to remind you what this is. And there she's here. She's here. She's here. Yay. Hello, Tracy.
Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm awesome. Welcome to the show. And I need to get rid of that thing back there because I want it to be. Oh, oh my Lord. Did I just get rid of me? Oh,
No,
Tracy. Tracy, um, get rid of your powers, please. You have extraordinary. Oh, that I'm. Wait a minute. I have you twice on the screen, on
oh,
here.
what can I say?
I'm getting rid of you. Oh, I know what to do. I know what to do. I know what to do. I have to bring me all the way up. So welcome to Bathrobe Moments, first of all, Tracy.
Thank you so much. It's awesome to be back.
Yes, and well, you know what? I'm looking at stuff on the screen that's different on the real screen that the world is seeing. So I'm just leave it alone. I don't need to see myself. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course I need to see myself. No, I don't. So anyway, this is the Bell of Purpose. Tracy, have you heard of this?
No, I haven't.
Oh, this is new for season 4. So what
Okay.
this is mainly for our viewers. I'm going to move this down so I can see. Okay, because I really can't see myself. Um, what this means is all of you out there that are watching, every time our guest says something or says something or something, or just so ready to, girl, you set them up. You go, girl. Can I get an amen up in here? I ring the bell of purpose. That means that something is out there that we need to pay attention to, and we are feeling what our guest is talking about. This is when you get to be a part of something greater than yourself, something we all innately want to do. How do you do that? That's when you invite your friends, you hit the share button, you send emojis of thumbs up and hearts on the screen, supporting what we know to be true. If we don't recognize and come together in agreement when we hear things that make sense to us, something's going to get missed and somebody's going to get missed along with it. And that's not what we're trying to do here. So when you hear that, get behind it and put something on the screen or invite somebody in, won't you please? Okay. So Tracy, welcome, 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 welcome to the show.
Thank you. And I'm from Kelowna.
Kelowna. See, I told you it's not. Well, that could be meat too. Cheese and Kelowna. Ooh, can I have a cheese and Kelowna sandwich? Um, okay. Tell us about it. Where's it at? Is it beautiful? And how long have you been there?
So it is in British Columbia in Canada. It is about 3.5 hours east of
Okay.
Vancouver. And so we're in mountainous orchards lakes. It's called the Okanagan Valley, and Kelowna is on a huge lake called Okanagan Lake. It's wine country. It's actually award-winning wine country. And so if you ever came here, aside from the beautiful lake, which you would see, you see snow-capped mountains, lots and lots of apple orchards, cherry orchards, and wineries. Wineries everywhere. So it's a happy town.
Nice. Did you grow up there? What's the deal?
No, so I'm originally from the United Kingdom. I was born in Wales. And then I actually moved to Canada in 1987. And I've been in Canada ever since.
Okay. Wales. Now
Wales.
that's a whole nother country.
That's a whole other country. That's a whole other story.
Now, hold on now, because Wales. Why does there is that Tom Jones?
Yes.
Oh,
Actually, yes. Tom Jones used to live in the next town.
he did.
Yes.
Wow. Have you ever met him?
No, I haven't. But he's actually he has no airs and graces. He frequently returns home and goes down the local pub to have a beer, a pint, with all the locals.
Well, that's nice. Oh, I love Tom Jones. I'm just gonna keep it real. I ain't got no
Yeah.
problem admitting it. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Da, 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 da. I mean, right? Still as good as it was way back in the 30s or whenever it was he recorded it. So, Tracy, wait a minute. I'm going to change the way we look on the screen. There. I have made you larger than myself. And trust me,
Yes.
that rarely happens. So, but I love your story. We have so much ground to cover. We really do. So I want to start. There's a couple of things I want to ask you. Can you take us to because seriously, this you were a nurse, so you're medically trained and you're a speaker, you're an advocate for bullying and this workplace bullying thing. Not something we hear about every day. So, do you mind giving us the Reader's Digest version about that experience? Because obviously it kicked off a lot in your life. And then I want to talk about those pictures behind you. So you're on.
Okay, so yes, workplace bullying. What can I say? It's a very different experience than childhood bullying because, as you know, as an adult, we think we can deal with most things, but when you have someone that's bullying and harassing and intimidating you at work, it actually sucks the life out of you. And I think the challenge is it's on the increase. And we know it's bullying is power and control. And so I endured it for 4.5 years. And the sad thing is I went to so many people about it and nothing was done. And so you're caught in this tunnel where you don't know where else to do. You know, I went to 8 different people, and whilst everyone sympathized with me, no one actually did anything. And so it gets to the point where it just brings you right down. It was constant. You know, it would
Okay.
yeah.
So, okay. So you go into, I'm assuming you're in an office setting?
So I was in the hospital.
Hospital. So what did they do? Did they like go into the staff lounge and take a bite out of your sandwich in your bag or pull the chair out right when you're getting ready to sit down? Did they what kind of did they, or was it just mean spirited things? How does one know if they're a victim of workplace bullying? Is it
So,
one person? Is it a group? Is it a climate? What is it?
well, it's all three. But it was one person. So it was my boss, my superior, and it would be intimidation, threats, harassment. So 6 a.m., I would get repeated texts, even though my workday didn't begin till 8, and the texts would continue until 10 p.m. And it would be, have you done that? Did you do that? You need to do this. It was hauling me into the office and telling me that, about I had a bad attitude, or no one liked me, or I needed to stop doing this. It was always something that was personally driven about me. It was emails. It was, you need to learn to shut your mouth if you want to get on in this place. It was literally coming in and screaming at me that that I better watch my place, otherwise she would get rid of me. And this went on, it was the work. It was giving me more and more and more work all the time, even though it was not my job description. And it was the expectation of doing things all the time, the looks, the whispers, right? The snide comments as you would pass. And the last 6 months, it got to the point where I was removed from the office to another location to do project work, put in a room with no windows, nobody around. So I was completely isolated, cut me off all email. So there was no contact, and instructed my staff not to contact me, that I was too busy. And so it was, in Britain, we call it being sent to Coventry, completely isolated and on your own. In conversations, it would be, you're never doing enough, you're never good enough, even though I was given 110% and everyone knew it. And then the threats of, I know that you're on your own and you have a mortgage to pay, you better watch yourself, because I would hate to be the one to fire you, and then what would happen? And so it was just over and over and over and over again. And it was those, I would say, those final months in 2015 where it was taken up to such an extreme that I was just, it was literally isolating me from everyone. And it culminated in a meeting that occurred in August 2015, where, because I had gone to the superior, for want of a better word, to let him know what was going on and what had been going on. And he was absolutely like gobsmacked and said, "This is unacceptable. You're going back to the hospital. I'm going to take care of it." I was called in. It's okay. I was called into a meeting to supposedly plan for my return after the project work had finished. Instead, it was 1.5 hours of her telling me everything horrible about me, personal stuff, that no one wanted me to come back, that the entire hospital had supposedly gone to her and said, "We hate her, don't bring her back." And it was just these personal, over and over again. And you can imagine what that's like, listening to that for 1.5 hours. And even though it was not true, and I knew it not to be true, it just, it was the culmination of 4.5 years where I went home. I couldn't stop crying. I threw myself into bed. And when I woke up the next morning, I was in the rabbit hole.
Wow. So this woman just, I can't even wrap my mind around it, because, I'd have been waiting behind a dumpster or someplace in the parking lot for her early on. But by the grace of God, you didn't do that. But now you're down in the rabbit hole. But I get it. You have to work. You have to provide for yourself, this and the other. But some people might be asking, why not, first of all, go to HR, or why not go get legal, people behind you, a solicitor, and try to do something that way. But I get the feeling that this is the kind of thing that used to be like when the first early grumblings of, "I think I'm being sexually harassed." Sure you are. You know what I mean? No one, there's no protocol or any. Is there? I mean, I don't really think there is protocol. There is harassment. I mean, did you ever
It's,
consider just a harassment suit?
oh, I did. I filed a grievance. I went to HR. I filed a grievance. I did everything I possibly could. I contacted a lawyer, and I was told that the organization was so rich and so big that it would take so many years, and at the end of it, I would probably be financially drained.
Oh yeah.
And even more stressed. And so you have to come. I mean, I filed a work safety because it was bullying. I went every avenue possible. I had the union involved, and what was sad was that as we conducted our investigation, I was number 8 of her victims. And
she was a serial bully.
Yes, and in fact, she was only actually dealt with when she went after her 12th victim.
Oh, so there were others.
Yeah, others.
So now you're down in that hole. Now, I envisioned when you said, and I woke up and I was in the rabbit hole. So, is that figuratively or literally? One morning, your eyes popped open and you said, "I just can't do it today."
I woke up on the Friday morning and I felt dreadful, and it was like, that sense of hopelessness and what am I going to do now? And I literally couldn't move. I actually thought I'd had a stroke. I could not move. And when I finally managed to get up to the side of the bed, I remember sitting there thinking, what is going on with me? What's happened? And it felt like I'd been poured into a cement, shoulder pads, cement boots. When I tried to get off the bed, I actually fell on the floor. And I was crawling, and I thought, okay, something has happened. But even in my brain, I wasn't registering that that I was in an acute depression, that I've had like a nervous breakdown, because it was so physical as well as emotional.
Oh, so you really did have what they call those psychotic breaks.
Not psychotic breaks.
No.
No, but it's like my brain just snapped. It just broke. My psychologist said, imagine your brain just was a piece of glass and it fractured into like a million pieces. And of course, and I think lots of people are now beginning to understand, but when you have a mental illness or a mental disorder, you also have physical effects.
Right.
And mine were so intense that I was not registering that it was, even as a nurse, I was not registering, oh, you've had a breakdown, you're in an acute depressive episode.
Okay.
It was only on the Saturday when I attempted suicide that I realized I was in trouble.
Wait a minute. So this is a Friday you woke up.
I woke up, so the meeting was on a Thursday. I woke up on a Friday. The day is spent in a haze, right? I mean, you're crying, you're swollen, you have no appetite.
Yeah.
You go back. On the Saturday, again, you just lie in fetal position on the bed, like, I can't go on, negative talk in your head, everything is hopeless. And I calmly went to the kitchen and I emptied a bottle of Tylenol or acetaminophen onto the counter and counted out 44 pills. And I was making pretty patterns with them on the counter. And I put myself some water and I took the first pill.
Why 44?
And because I'm a nurse, so I know it would do the job.
Oh. I did not know that was the number. Okay.
Well, and that's not the magic number. The magic number is actually lower, but I wanted to make sure that I did the job.
Wow.
And it was as I lifted the first pill to my mouth, I heard a voice in my left ear. It wasn't in my head. It wasn't in the room. I just heard a voice say, "Run, run." And I put the pill in the water down, and I literally, even though I could hardly move, I ran. I grabbed my purse, I threw on my shoes, and I ran outside and I went to my car. And I thought, just get away. And I started driving around. It was a Saturday night. It was 8 o'clock. There's nothing open in where I live except Walmart. And so I went to Walmart.
Now I know why you were depressed. You were in a town that nothing was open at 8 p.m. but a Walmart, girl. Okay, but anyway, that's another story. So Tracy, and I know, because you know what, when you were going down timeline, I remember that. I remember the fetal position. I remember rolling into the walk-in closet and staying in that position for 2.5 days, not eating, not using the bathroom. Not if I always tell people that if my lungs didn't automatically rise and fall to give me breath, I don't think I had the energy to even do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just laid there. It just everything just shut down, everything. And it felt like that 2.5 days was 5 minutes. It didn't seem like I've been in here for days. No, it didn't. And I didn't care. I had no sense of time,
Yeah.
none. And I didn't even feel like I was laying on a floor. I just felt like I was just floating, just willing it to be over. And so I did it. I did it. So
Absolutely.
so let's talk about, here you are. You've had this nervous breakdown. You're down inside there. Now you're out and you drove around. What was now? And I think that that voice is a very telling piece of the story, because there is that. I don't know how it is for other people, but I had that same thing. But it was like, get up. I know you don't want to, but I need you to. So get up anyway. And I've been listening to that mantra ever since. And thank God that I do. I got my ears on all the time. And for those of you just joining, yes, I am wearing hair today. It's salt and pepper. My Rod Stewart kind of look. It could be an ode to Rod Stewart, don't you think? Anyway, I am here in hair, and I'm here today with our guest from Canada, from British Columbia, Tracy Maxfield, who has written a book entitled uh, "My Escaping the Rabbit Hole: My Journey Through Depression," and she has a new podcast that is going to be launching on March 19th. It's a weekly podcast entitled "Engage, Educate, and Empower," and we're going to get into that. And I want you guys to invite people right now. Hit the share button, because depression is something that has come and rubbed against all of us. It is laid a platter of food or a drink down in front of all of us. And we didn't even know that we were in that establishment being served a helping of depression. So, for those of you who have experienced it, for those of you who are in the midst of it, and for those of you who just don't get it and you think you haven't, but one day it's around that corner known as the future, tune in, sit up and listen, because this is a person who has gone through it, and she's here today to show you how to get through it. Okay? So let people know what's going on here today. So, Tracy, what did it look like the way at the beginning back? Let's get to when the light started slowly being, or the rheostat was turned and the light started coming back up in your world. How did that happen, and how did it feel, and how long did it take?
So I would say it took a good year.
Oh,
I was in weekly therapy, then it went to bi-weekly, medication adjustments. I was journaling all the time, and frequent suicide ideation never left me. Absolutely never left me. There were more attempts, and I think it was about a year in. I would go to my psychologist and I would say, "Can you just give me a date when I'm going to get better? I need hope. I need something to hold on to, because you're just thinking, I can't keep doing this every day. Like, the pain is just overwhelming." And he said, "You've gone through such an experience. It's going to take quite a while. I think you need to start changing your mindset. You keep wanting a date. You want to know in 5 weeks you're going to be healed." And he goes, "I can't give you that answer. You need to start living, just appreciating the moment that you're in and being present." And he said, "I would like you, when you journal, to start expressing gratitude."
ah,
And I kind of laughed at him and said, "What have I got to be grateful about?" And he said, "I know you're in a bad spot." He says, "Everything is so dark and bleak, but you still have a roof over your head, and you have food on the table, and you have hot and cold running water." And he goes, "Think about people that actually don't have that." And so I thought, okay, fine. And I went home and I started to write. But I'd say for the first week or so, there was no real purpose behind it. It was kind of, I am grateful for hot and cold water. I am grateful I have a car. I am grateful for food. And I thought, okay, I'm not feeling it. This isn't going to work for me. And I had an appointment to see him to talk about, okay, I'm failing. I'm not doing this. I don't get it. And I went outside, and it was the tail end of winter. Spring was just coming, and I walked outside and I looked down, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and the snow was starting to melt, and a purple crocus had broken through the snow.
Aww.
And I remember looking and thinking how vibrant and how intense the color was against the backdrop of the white snow. And I was there for ages just looking at just the color and the beauty. And I remember thinking, wow, new life, new growth, spring is coming. Look at this, it broke through the snow. And all of a sudden you have, that aha moment of, oh my goodness, gratitude.
Yes.
And I just felt very peaceful. I was there for ages, but I felt very peaceful and calm, and just thinking, wow, what a privilege to see this solitary flower, springing into life.
Right.
And I went to see my psychologist for my usual therapy session. I said, I've been struggling with gratitude, but I think I get it. And I explained what had happened. And he said, your aha moment, that is it. And from that point on, I understood it was simple things like, children laughing, someone holding a door open for you, the sun reflecting off the lake. It was lots of it are nature, the wonders of nature. But I finally got the concept of being present and accepting the moment, that even though I felt I was in hell, down in the rabbit hole, and things were not getting better for me, each day I would still see beauty and wonders of the world around me. Like someone holding a door open for me and saying good morning was, to me, was like, yes. I'd go to Starbucks every day to kind of get out into life and not be alone with my thoughts. And when I walked in, and one of the baristas said, Tracy, how are you? It was like, yes. It was those little things
Someone sees you.
that made you feel connected, but also that you were part of this world, despite feeling so bad. And after like a few weeks, gratitude just, I would see it all the time. When you open your heart and open your mind, then you see it. And even today, I mean, I'll be driving by the lake and I'll see the sun peeking through in a cobweb, and it'll be like, wow, how amazing is that?
Absolutely.
And so I think that helped me refocus my thought pattern of, it's just today, be present, live for today, and start again tomorrow. And I think that took pressure off me in, why aren't I getting better? How much longer is this going to be? And I think that certainly was something that helped me move towards the light.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And shout out to my dear friend, Joshua T. Berglund, whose show airs right before mine. And I know you're friends with Joshua as well.
Yep.
And his show, Gratitude Unfiltered. Absolutely. What better way than to start your day with a cup full of gratitude? Now, I remember when I was dealing with depression after finding my birth family, because, I wasn't as accepted as quickly as I would have liked to have been, because they all thought I had died as a baby. So I came from the grave, literally. And my mom, I was sitting there one day with her at her home. She was having a cup of Sanka. And I was just so down. It was just, oh. And she says, if you just look around you, you don't even have to go anywhere. Right where you sit, Loren, start ticking off the things that you have to be grateful for. I was like, oh yeah, like what? And she says, well, you're drinking a cup of coffee in your right, and you're holding it in your right hand. Don't you know that somewhere in the world right now, yesterday at this very time, that person was drinking coffee and they were holding it in their right hand, just like you. But today, for whatever reason, something's happened since 24 hours ago. They either don't have that hand or they don't even have the arm. One of these people isn't even in this world. She goes, if you just sit still in one spot and look around you and start looking at all the things you have to be grateful for, I guarantee you, by the time you finish that list, the day will be over. So that's something to think about.
Mhm.
It's not hard to find things to be grateful for. And
Absolutely.
gratitude is a healing balm. It is a healing balm, you guys. There's some purpose right there. Get behind it. If you believe that gratitude can heal, let me see some hearts, some love on the screen, or get somebody in here to hear the rest of this interview that needs that healing balm known as gratitude. Won't you do that? Become a part of something bigger than yourself? I thought you would. Thank you, guys. So now let's turn the corner if we could. So now, because I want you to talk about how, because a lot of us know, but some of us, when you're still inside that hole, whatever it may not be depression, it might be a bad relationship, it might be you're unemployed, your car just broke down, but whatever that particular hole looks like for you, if you could, Tracy, talk about how we see it and experience it when it's real time, but then how if we really want to later it was you see that it was there for a reason because now you use it to help others.
Yes.
And that person behind you on the wall, that artwork, and I know there's a story there. I see that dark hand on that person in the one picture. I know this look. Oh, I love this hair. Um uh on the person that's falling up, that's a seated fetal position if you really look. And I know that you have all that there as a reminder, a mile marker, if you will, to prove I've been there. I know these feelings,
Mhm.
right? So,
Yes.
okay, so talk to people about when you're in it, you never think that this is going to be a blessing one day. Because I'm a firm believer, Tracy, that in order to be the blessing from the experience, you have to see the blessing that
Yes.
is the experience. So talk about that and how you came to that realization, which allows you today to write books and have online courses and to get up and help beckon people out of the darkness and into your light.
So you're exactly right. At my book release party, I gave a couple of speeches, and in one of them, I said, and I've actually written it in the end chapter of my book, despite everything that happened to me, and it was horrible, and I don't want to go through it again. I consider it a gift,
Mm.
and I wouldn't change it because what the journey did, I think it took me to the lowest point I could possibly go. And it enabled me not only to find this inner strength that everyone doesn't know they have until they get to that point, and the fact that I was alone. I was divorced, so I was doing everything on my own, and it was you have to develop self-love for yourself. You have to start loving yourself and knowing that you are worthy to live and be a part of the world. But I think it was also as I worked through everything and the gratitude and the mindfulness, it moved me into a different place. I emerged from the rabbit hole a very different person to the person that I was before I fell down the rabbit hole. I appreciated truly appreciated the little things in life, the simple things. Less materialistic, less focused on what other people thought. I I realized that I came out. I say a kinder, gentler person. I was always a nice person, but I think I truly understood what suffering and compassion and gratitude was. It brought me to a different level, and it gave me a purpose. When I came out, I had a new purpose. And
Tracy, let me ask you something before we get too far away from it. You just said, when I fell down the rabbit hole. Now, because of the bully aspect, is it fair to say that you fell or were you pushed?
well, I was actually pushed, and
Ah,
I put that in the I put that in my book, and I say fell isn't quite the right word. I was pushed and I hurtled
yeah,
down.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Cause
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and that's a key component for somebody that's listening, and to know that we don't end up in those holes by choice much of the
No,
time. Sometimes we do,
but
but many of us don't.
we don't. And as I said, despite being a nurse and knowing all that I did not recognize that it was depression because it happened so fast and so with such intensity. One day you're at work and you're thinking of your next paycheck and next week and what are you going to do? And the next minute you're in a fetal position in a dark space. Literally, I felt like I was in a rabbit hole. It felt cold and earthy and damp and claustrophobic. And all of a sudden, you have this new friend that you didn't have the day before, and it's suicide. And
Yeah.
I named him. He was so personal to me. I named him DBS, Death by Suicide. And it's like, what the heck just happened in 24 hours? It's literally when they say your life can change in a heartbeat. Yes,
Yes.
yes, it can.
Amen. Yes, it can. And I'm going to hit the bell on that one. Now, get ready because this is another great piece. And I have a feeling when you do interviews about this, coming through me, not from me, but I have a feeling you rarely get asked this next question. But I know the big piece. And I haven't read your book yet. I want to, and I'm going to, but I bet you talk about it in there. And that piece is when I think about, well, I wonder where her bully is today. And tell us about how that time, that frame of mind, that period of time when you were forced in order to get all the way out and through and able to help people the way you do today. Tell us about what it was like when you knew you had to 100% forgive your bully.
Um, I actually, it was funny because it was during therapy as I was getting, I would say, past the middle stage. And I started writing my blog, which became the book. And even though it was difficult, it was also very cathartic.
Hmm.
And I always used to go to therapy on a Monday, and I went to see my psychologist, and I'm sitting on the sofa, and I said, I realize I have to forgive two people. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, I realize I need to forgive myself and stop beating myself up and blaming myself that this has happened, and I have to learn from it. But I also realize in order to move forward, I have to forgive my bully. And I said, it's difficult, but I have to look at it from a different perspective of, okay, what's going on in her life? What kind of inner demons does she have that makes her,
Feed on this.
right, to do this behavior? And whereas I can't change her, I hope that at some point she recognizes it and gets help, but I forgive her for what she did. And I forgive myself. And I said, I think that's the only way I'm going to get the freedom to actually keep moving on and heal. And as you know, forgiveness doesn't mean you go up and beg them for forgiveness. It's a healing process where you allow yourself to get to I think a place of understanding and compassion, and say, you know what, at the end of the day, your actions enabled me to become a better person.
Yes, because look around you. The life and the person you are today, that bully gave that to you.
Yes, and so that
Hey,
is the gift, that is the gratitude, and that is the forgiveness. And I think if more people understood what that concept is, I think it would enable them to free themselves from their chains of whatever's holding them back or keeping them in a hole, and they would be able to move forward a little bit more quickly.
amen. I just want to say to our viewers out there, thank you guys for tuning in. Nick Harris, thank you for saying you love the hair. I do too. Um, uh, Tracy, this is such a sensitive subject for a lot of people, but it is mental health. depression, the identification of it. I know how it felt like I was tethered in sticky, gooey, like melted gum. You know, like when you step on hot gum
Mm-hmm.
somebody threw on the sidewalk and you just can't get it off your
Right.
shoe. That's how, and the more I tried, the more it stuck. I know that. But you know what? When you come through it, you come out of it with so many things that, you know,
Yes.
I can't even get it all out. It's hard to explain for me sometimes, but I want you to talk about this real quick as we round the last lap. We have about 7 minutes left. Warning signs. Do you ever see in your work warning signs in someone that when you go, ooh, I remember when that was me. Ooh, that could turn into this or that.
Yes.
And and
Yes.
and, and give us a few of those that might help people because you know when people are in there, you can't get to them sometimes.
Right.
What's wrong? Nothing. You know what's wrong?
Yeah.
Nothing. So what are some of the warning signs and how do we help someone that may not feel they need or want help?
So, I mean, warning signs are, it's that change. It's a change in attitude, change in your emotions. Depression heralds a change. And so you may find that you're more sad or feeling unworthy or hopeless. There's fatigue, sleep problems are huge. You're either sleeping too much or you're hardly sleeping, you're tossing and turning.
Yeah.
Your appetite changes. Lots of people feel sick and they don't want to eat. Others kind of go and they eat junk food. And you know they go for that comfort food to try and help their emotions, their feelings. You can be really angry or irritable, which is out of character for you, but that's all the emotional turmoil that's going on.
Mm.
You'll have headaches, you'll have body pains, your stomach will feel unsettled. You Lots of people say they feel tired inside and out, and you
Uh-huh.
do. You just have this fatigue. You have this. You don't have the zest for life that you once had. Everything is an effort, and you just feel that you're starting to withdraw from people. You can't concentrate as well. You may not remember things as best as you could, and it's these changes, overreacting. Um, you know, or just being, you know, going to a party or a family gathering and just not participating and wanting to leave or
Right.
wanting to be left alone. And so those are some of the warning signs that something is going on. And it's difficult because, you know, there's still so much stigma attached to mental illness. And the challenge with depression is it's the invisible illness. So to all intents and purposes, you look fine. Many people who are the life and soul of the party are profoundly depressed.
Yeah.
And people have a hard time reconciling with that. But I think it's reaching out to them and saying, you know, I'm concerned about you. You don't seem yourself. You seem different.
Yeah.
Is there something going on?
Yep.
You know, is there something going on
Yeah.
personally? Is there something going on at work? Would you like to talk about it? And lots of people will rebuff, you
Right.
know, and
Right.
so you encourage them. You know, have you seen your doctor? Would you like me to come with you? You know,
Okay.
or would you like me to drive you? Or it may be things as, you know, I really, you know, I think it would be a great idea if you could talk to someone, a counselor, or see a doctor. But I want you to know that I'm here for you. And I think this is what people with a depression or going into a depression need to hear. I'm here for you, and I'm
Support.
going to support you,
Yeah.
and I am going to be checking in on you. Because when they say call me, people don't call.
Right.
And so it's, you know, I'm gonna just stop by with coffee and muffins. I'm going to stop by and we're going to go out and go for a drive, or I'm going to take you for coffee, but I'm going to phone you. I'm going to
So
text you.
so basically, sometimes we just have to take the lead
Oh, you
and
have to.
and push our way through
You have
in
to.
order
You
to
have
get them
to.
to be okay. Okay. So write those things down, go back on the replay and write them down, whatever you need to do, or continue this dialogue with Tracy on your own time. And Tracy, you will drop in all of your connectors,
Yes.
how they can find you and this and the other. Last thing I want you to talk about today is this wonderful, fateful day coming up in just a few weeks, known as March 19th, when your new weekly podcast launches, because I know there's probably some great guests out there that will contact you now, or just a lot of you. I want you to tune in and support this wonderful podcast entitled Engage, Educate, and Empower. Tell us about that and what we can look forward to.
So, as you know, you're one of the guests.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you.
So,
Yeah, I am.
yes. So, I've started recording. We've got some really awesome guests, actually from around the world. And so, I've taken my work with children and teenagers one step further. And so, the podcast is for them. Obviously, it is for kids. They can tune in and listen, but it's also for parents and teachers and counselors and just the public in general. Our kids are in dire straits.
Amen.
Right? Mental illness is at an all-time high. Suicide is now the second leading cause of death. There's drug addiction. Bullying is an epidemic. Like, I just had another message that someone just died of suicide because of bullying. This is becoming it's a daily occurrence.
Epidemic.
And so it is, and it's scary, and so the purpose of is engage, educate, empower. So that's what I want to do. Give people the information that will enable them not only to support their kids, but to support children, teenagers everywhere, and empower them to develop the skills and have the values that they can move forward. And so we have guests that are talking about bullying, suicide, mental illness, mental health, foster care. I mean, so many children in foster care have the highest ACE scores in the country, and in school they act out, but people say, oh, please, that's it, expel them or discipline them. It's like, no, you have to start understanding the world that our kids are living in, and what can we do as adults to help empower them to move forward. And
Tracy,
so
I'm sorry, where will we be watching the how do we catch the podcast?
So the podcast will be on, oh my goodness, so many. I'll advertise it beforehand, but it's on Android, it's on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Podbean, podcast. It's on 11 different channels.
Oh, yes.
And obviously then each guest will share it on their social media channels. But I'm hoping that it's just giving people the information they need, that guess what, kids do have mental illness. Kids are ending their life by suicide. Why is this happening? What can we do as a society? It's the theme, right? It takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
The onus is not solely on the parents, solely on the school system and the teachers. It is on us as human beings to help our younger generation.
That's right. And I've been clicking around here on the thing. Tracy, I want to thank you for joining today. Oh, there you are. I want to thank you for joining today and bringing all of your insight. The book is Escaping the Rabbit Hole, My Journey Through Mental Depression. And the show is Engage, Educate, Empower. The podcast launches March 19th. So get over. And Tracy's going to do some powerful advertising. So, and I'll let you guys know. Tracy, thank you. Have a great day. Please drop all of your connectors in so people can continue the dialogue. You guys, I'll see you back here Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, for another week of great, enlightening, illuminating conversations where you're going to find real people talking about real issues. So, thank you so much again, Tracy. Be blessed, being the blessing. Thank you so much. Thank you. And so, everybody, we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Get out there and do what we do. Won't you please? Just be the blessing, and be the blessing. I'm Loren Michaels Harris. I'll see you next week. And da 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 da.